Hey, welcome to another edition of Blue Jay Banner Today. I'm Tim Kruger. Thanks for joining us. Hope you grabbed yourself a cup of coffee here and take a listen to what we got going on today in Blue Jay athletics. We're gonna kind of get you set up for the weekend. This is our last show of the week, so we're gonna get you set up for the weekend on the men's and women's soccer team and also volleyball with some huge matches coming up. And then we want to talk a little bit about some news this week on the basketball front. Some basketball updates. So we'll give you some basketball updates here at the end of the show. Want to thank Infusion Brewing Company for sponsoring our program. They have been terrific. Go to infusionbrewing.com. Great chance this weekend to get out and check out everything that they have to offer at their tasting room in Southwest Omaha. They've got all their fall beers out right now, so check them out. That's infusionbrewing.com. Okay, want to get kicked off here with the men's and women's sports. Let's start off with soccer. The men's soccer team tomorrow will go to Michigan and take on the Wolverines. Another road game. They desperately need to get things on track, so they're going to take on Big Blue on Friday, and then the home opener on Labor Day at 6 p.m. So a great chance, a great time to get out to Morrison Stadium and see this year's version of the men's soccer team. And coach has done a fabulous job, obviously, here at Creighton, and be a great time to go out and check them out. So that's at 6 p.m. Monday night on Labor Day. So check out the Jays and their home opener against Tulsa at Morrison Stadium. The women are on the road with two big tussles. Today at 3 p.m. they take on Western Michigan, taking on the Broncos in Kalamazoo. So the Jays desperately need to get things going. So they'll be in Kalamazoo taking on Western Michigan at 3 p.m. today, and then on Sunday they're going to take on an undefeated Duke team. Real tall task there at Duke, which is a 4 p.m. kick. So two road games this week, and then they'll be back home again here in Omaha. We mentioned the other day about the volleyball team. Just they always play such a competitive and tough schedule, and it's not any different this year under Coach Rosen. And first correction, I think I said the other day, somebody pointed out that I said, they're taking on Wisconsin. They're not taking on Wisconsin. They're at Wisconsin. I apologize for that. They're playing at the Kohl Center. So Friday, and here's a cool thing. Both these games are going to be on the Big Ten Network. So this is awesome that their first three games are on national TV. So Friday at 8:30 p.m., they're going to take on Texas, the number 5 team in the country. They'll take them at 8:30 on Friday from the Kohl Center, and then they'll flip right around Sunday and take on a very familiar foe that they played many, many times over the last few years, especially in the NCAA tournament, and that's Kansas. And they'll play on Sunday at 3:30 in the afternoon. Again, from the Kohl Center, Kansas number 14 in the country. So in the first three matches, Creighton will have faced 2, 5, and 14. But again, to be an upper tier program that Creighton is, that's what they have to do in scheduling. And B, playing in the Big East, that's what they have to do in scheduling to get quality games in, because the Big East, after the one or two matches they have, typically, the rest of the Big East isn't ranked very high. So this is what they have to do to get on the minds of the selection committee when they select the top 16 sites, so they can get a home site and hopefully even a regional down the road. So at any rate, two big volleyball matches. Let's see if we can how we come out on this. I think, realistically, hey, we'd like to win every match, sure. But I think 1-1 here would be really good. So you'll see these matches on the Big Ten Network, so check them out this weekend. So you got a lot of viewing to go on. You got volleyball Friday and Sunday on TV. You got the home opener for the men on Monday. So a lot of Jays stuff going on. Do want to talk a little bit about the men's basketball program today. Give you a kind of an update. So I think it was reported by John Rothstein that had another report that Owen Freeman, 6'10" center transfer from Iowa, would not be ready to go at the beginning of the season. This has kind of been a little. I wouldn't say it's been all over the board about when he's coming back, but it's been a little bit up and down. The first report came out that it wasn't that serious. He'll be ready to go by by September 1. Then this summer, one of the media scrums that we had with Coach McDermott, Coach said, yeah, probably, middle of September-ish, sometime in there. And Coach McDermott's always been, he hasn't sugarcoated anything. He hasn't, led us down the wrong path. He's always been a very straight shooter with the media as far as player injuries and so forth, as much as he can talk about them, right? So he said middle of September. So I'm thinking, well, okay, let's be realistic. Let's go October 1st. And then I had heard that shortly after that, that wasn't going to be October 1st. It was going to be later. There was some doubt he would not be ready for the exhibition games in the middle and latter part of October. Then we heard that maybe for the home opener, for the opening of the season. Well, I kind of asked some questions, and obviously with injuries to players, you get kind of vague answers from my sources, so that's understandable. So I was kind of going with that, and there was a report, I think, this week that John Rothstein had said that he would not be ready for the start of the season. Now, this conflicts a little bit with something I heard at one of the last practices where I talked to a very, very, very good source. And the thing was with Owen, Owen was at the practice, was walking around without any knee brace on. I know some people on the sideline that I was sitting near commented that some media, some not, that, it looks like he's coming along just fine. He didn't look too bad. He didn't do any drills. He wasn't involved in any drills. He did some kind of testing things with Jeremy Anderson. But I had heard that, everything was great. Oh, no. There wasn't a slowdown, because there seemed to be some problems, obviously, when you first hear September 1, and then it's mid-September, late September, then it's October, then it's maybe latter October, now not even the start of the season. The problem was when that question was asked of people, we didn't have a baseline. So they said, oh, he's progressing fine. Well, maybe the timetable was middle of November. So if that's the case, he was progressing fine. Okay. That's the problem. We didn't have a marker to say what's the original thought, or where do you see him now? Or, they hesitate to want to too much project when somebody's going to be ready, because it's just too hard to tell, especially with an injury like that, knee injury. So we got to, again, take everything at its word and assume that he will not be ready for the start of the season. Now, it would really be nice to have him ready for that Gonzaga game. And Owen's the kind of kid, too, just the brief time I've gotten to know him, he's going to push it. He's going to be 100% ready to go if he can be, especially for that Gonzaga game. So that leaves Creighton with this scenario, and that of course is that they brought in 2 European players to kind of be backups, so forth, and one of which the recent signee, Kieran Conan, can actually play probably the 4. If you've seen video of him, I saw national video of him, and it's not somebody from the big networks anyway. It's just somebody that does a national Twitter basketball account. He's got quite a few followers, and he just said, he put some video out and said, wow, Can you imagine that this kid is going to be a freshman at Creighton? And show the video of him, and the kid is dynamic. And I know the staff, when they went out to visit him, were very, very, very high on him before they went and after they got home. Um, they felt like they really found somebody here. So he's a guy I think could slide over, especially with his athleticism. He's really athletic and dynamic, and he can shoot the basketball. So again, we'd have that feature of stretching the floor a little bit. Alexa is also a guy kind of maybe in the realm athletically of well, I don't want to say athletically, but just kind of the way he plays and stuff, more like Freeman and less like Kalkbrenner, if that makes any sense. But he's not maybe as athletic as Conan is. He's 7'1", he's a little bigger. So he's like the perfect guy to be a backup. But in this particular instance, he's going to have to learn the system because remember, he missed all of the summer workout. So he's got a lot of catching up to do. So it'll be interesting once they kick off practices and we get into the gym again and we go and see him and how he looks and how he fits in with the system. So Alexa will be probably the number one, I would guess. Conan 2, but that could switch, right? But at least we have two viable pieces that we can plug in until Owen Freeman's ready to go. I think the advantage, Owen, you say, well, if these guys are so great, would they just leapfrog Owen? And I go, no, because we've got a lot of final exams passed by Owen, right? I mean, we've got a lot of tape on him. We've seen him play a big-time college basketball. We know what we have there. Versus these two Europeans, yes, very highly thought of, but what kind of competition were they up against? How are they going to adapt to college? How are they going to adapt to the system? How are they going to adapt to all these different things? So there's a lot of mystery there. Certainly their basketball talent is there, and there's communication. There's just a lot of things that they're going to have to learn because Coach McDermott's system is somewhat complex. So they're going to have to learn a lot about it. Now, I think it helps you got another European guy like Fedor on the team that can kind of, help out with those guys and get them to understand, hey, this is what we want to do here. This is what we want to do there. Now, speaking of which, with Fedor, the difference there was the high caliber league he played in over there. So we knew kind of what we were going to get from Fedor. So, I mean, obviously, the big thing would be the physicality of the game, the difference in the college game for these two guys, and then, rebounding. I think that's where we would, you would, when you're missing your big guy, for instance, when we're missing Kalkbrenner, that was always a big thing, rebounding and defense, right? So rebounding I think would be the easier fix because these two guys are fairly athletic. The harder fix would be the defensive end, especially for Conan, who probably hasn't guarded fours like he's going to see in the Division I games we're going to play. So, it's 7-1. Alexa's, very capable of defending the rim. If you've watched any film on him. So, those things are all things we're going to have to work out. So, yeah, hey, look, if we can get Owen back by the time we go to Vegas, I think and have him 100% ready to go, that's the key right there. Because then you've got a full complement of players heading into Vegas where you're going to play, potentially 3 games in 3 days. Obviously we'd love to have them for the Gonzaga game, but that's not maybe going to be in the cards. And the good thing is there's not going to be a whole lot of film on these other two. So what they can do and so forth. And, how good as Gonzaga reports are. They're not. I mean, they're always going to be top 10, but they're maybe not going to be as good as they were last year. So then that's just speculation at this point. So, you know, I think it's way too early to start fretting about one game on the schedule. Worst thing happen. We're going to go out to Gonzaga. That's a very, very, very tough place to play. I mean, a team in their conference, St. Mary's, struggles there a lot. And St. Mary's is usually a very, very good basketball team. Anybody that's gone in there struggles. So it, even best case scenario, we could go out there and not win. So I would not. I've already heard fans say, "Oh my God, what's going to happen when we go to Gonzaga?" Um, let's just go back to the motto that we've had for the last decade, and that's trust Mac. Okay, trust Coach Mac. But that was a little update on the center position. Everything else is 100% green light go as far as the roster goes. So excited to see these guys as they get back in school. They are back in school, but excited to get into the full practice realm again. And again, we have, just a reminder, we get those 2 exhibition games, Iowa State and Colorado State, coming up in October here at CHI. So that's very, very exciting this year. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank Infusion Brewing, our sponsor. We appreciate them so much. And then also thanks for watching. We really appreciate the support we've had over the first, 3-4 weeks here. Thanks so much. By the way, just want to mention something. We kind of check the viewership each day. I think you're really missing out if you're not watching those random J of the week segments we do once a week through the course of this program. And we've done 2 now, and they're a lot of fun. You're going to love the discussion we have, the memories we have about these players that the 2 contestants are trying to guess. Yesterday it was Heath Gunderson and Mike Rochon were paired off against each other trying to guess the clues of who the random J of the week was. I think you're really going to enjoy this. I'm kind of a game show guy, so I love this kind of stuff. He's a tough sell sometimes. He loved it. I could tell. He really loved it, and I think he'll be back on the show again. But check those out, because I think you really, if you've watched the Jays over the past, even if you only watch them, say, during the McDermott era, you're still going to enjoy the conversation we're going to have throughout that whole segment, because we're going to have plenty of players from the McDermott era too. And the first one actually was the McDermott era, Daryl Ashford. So watch those shows. You're really going to appreciate them. They're random J of the week segments, and we not only play the game, but then we discuss a little bit about the team that these players played on and our thoughts about that player and so forth. It's a lot of fun, a lot of fun looking back nostalgically at the quarter century of Jays basketball, which is, when you think about it, it's been absolutely off the charts for the last 25 years. So thanks so much for joining me. Hey, everybody, have a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll be back with you Tuesday after Labor Day, getting you set for wrap up, give a recap of the weekend in Creighton sports, and we're shooting for some live interviews that week, so check them all out. Thanks so much, guys.